I know. You're probably wondering what's going on. Well, I'm here to tell you. It's me, Inked, and I need you guys to head on over to ajsrantroom.com and pick up your Trifecta merch. Yes, that's right. Trifecta merch is here. It is here for our Trifecta family to show their love and support and advertise for free. Well, not technically for free. You did pay for it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Head on over to ajsrantroom.com and pick up your Trifecta merch. We're all inclusive. If Prince can wear it, so can you. Have a good one.
It's always lit over at ajsrantroom.com. We got the best bags and accessories, our beloved Black Series. We got fresh lids for you hat lovers, fire jackets and hoodies, and of course we got you covered on the t-shirts. And introducing our first shoe line, Aloysius Germain. So get on over to ajsrantroom.com today and get to shopping. You won't be disappointed.
Let's go. Let's go.
Woo! How do everybody? Happy Monday before Labor Day, which means I get a much needed day off to do more work. All right, let's talk politics, culture, music, and memories. Today, we're hitting it all. First up, I'm breaking down what so many folks keep confusing. They keep confusing MAGA with conservatism, with the extreme right and the Republican Party. And I got some answers. I got a little bit. We'll try to unpack it in the 7 minutes that I have. Then we got to have an uncomfortable conversation about a Black woman actually saying Donald Trump wants to deport illegal immigrants so Black folks can end up back in the fields. Yep, you heard that right. She has a theory, and we're going to unpack it. After that, it's time to rewind back to the time, year 2001. We're taking the number one album, the number one song, the number one movie in the country. Plus, we'll take a moment to honor and celebrate the beautiful life and legacy of Aaliyah Dana Houghton, who unfortunately left us 24 years ago. And don't worry, I've got a cheeky throwback picture lined up and a hilarious Leave Me Alone segment that'll leave you hollering. And we're closing with a powerful inspiration point message to send you off right. All that and more coming up on the RANT Experience.
Thank you for tuning into the RANT Experience. This episode is brought to you by our official merch store, ajsrantroom.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you get new uploads and live streams hot off the presses. We drop a new episode of the RANT Experience every Monday, and now it's time for a politics fix.
Well. All right. So one of the things that often comes up is the overlapping of conservatism with MAGA, with extreme right-wingism, and the Republican Party. And a lot of times people don't unpack the difference. They'll just say, you're not this and you're not that. And if you're MAGA, you can't be a conservative and you're not a real Republican and this, that, and the third. Actually, you can be all four. You could be an extreme right winger and a Republican and MAGA and somewhat of a conservative, if you will, depending on your value system. It all depends on that. But let me just make some things clear right now, because folks love to throw MAGA conservatism, right-wing Republicanism in the same pot sometimes, and then have them all, and then make it one big stew of nothing. Like we all believe the same, think the same, love the same, like the same, and we don't. We disagree a lot, that's how you know we're not a cult. because I don't know too many people in a cult who disagree on so many different issues, whether it's fiscal issues, whether it's social issues, whatever it is. We don't agree on everything, and we also don't agree on how to go about everything. So let's start with MAGA. Make America Great Again. Started with Donald Trump, yes, but at this point, this movement is so much bigger than Donald Trump. It's not just the man. It's a broad tent that pulled in people from many different political backgrounds, from Democrats to independents to libertarians to apolitical folk who never cared about politics before, all united under one simple idea: put America first. Now, whether you love it or hate it, MAGA became a cultural force that outlived Trump's presidency. Meaning after 2028, it's still going to be MAGA. That is still going to be MAGA. We still going to be MAGA. You got that? Cool. And it's a beautiful tent with a lot of different ideas and a lot of strong people. That's what matters, right? People forget that the red hat isn't just a slogan. It's a signal, a frustration of people who felt ignored by Washington, by the elites, by the media. And once you open a door that wide, it don't close back so easily. So let's be clear. That's MAGA. MAGA is not Republican. MAGA, you can have overlapping beliefs within the Republican Party, but you can also be a Democrat. You could also be a political independent, libertarian, whatever it is you want to be. Now, conservatism is a different story. Conservatism is an ideology rooted in principles that existed long before Donald Trump, long before MAGA. Think about the 7 pillars of conservatism: free markets, human dignity, peace through strength, limited government, the rule of law, fiscal responsibility, and belief in tradition. But within conservatism, you've got layers. There's layers to this. There's no one size fit all way to be a conservative. There's a foundation, and then you have your respective beliefs. You've got libertarian conservatives who just want the government out of their lives completely. We had one in my live stream today. You've got fiscal conservatives focused on taxes, debt, and balancing budgets. You've got religious conservatives centered on morality and faith. And yes, you've got Black conservatives, Latino conservatives, gay conservatives, all kinds of folks. Now, the identity thing, we don't really play that much over here, but sometimes conservatives do try and play up that identity thing when it's convenient for them, and then you get called out on it. People act confused, like, how can somebody from a marginalized community be conservative? Easy, because conservatism speaks to values, not skin tone. The problem is nobody wants to actually have that conversation ever. They never want to have the conversation. What's one of the most frustrating things is when you're hosting a live stream and you say, ask a conservative, and they're like, they come and they try to tell you who you are. And then when I try to explain to them, this is my belief system. So you really didn't come up here to learn. You just came up here to chastise me, judge me, crucify me, and then send me on my way. Well, then what was the point of even trying? They slap every label, every single stereotype, and then you're like, why am I doing this? Someone asked me the other day, how did I get into political commentary? And I'm still trying to figure that out. But now you've got the extreme right wingers. Now, these are the people that y'all often conflate for conservatives. Okay? These are the people. They are no different than the extreme left. Both want control, just in opposite flavors. The far left wants everybody to accept their dogmas on gender, sexuality, identity, etc., etc. The far right wants to force everybody into their dogma on Christianity, nationalism, and tradition, and other things. Same game, different rules. Both extremes are about government mandates, about saying you will live like this whether you want to or not. And most regular people, most of us in the middle, in the gray area, who really don't care, just going about our lives and don't care unless you step on my toes, They don't live in those extremes. We don't live in those extremes. And then finally, we've got the Republican Party itself. That's not a movement. The Republican Party is a political machine. It's the official institution that carries candidates, raises money, and pushes platforms. Now, the GOP is a mix of everything I just laid out: MAGA voters, conservatives, moderates, and yes, even log cabin Republicans, folks from the LGBT community who align with the party. You've got moderates who lean center. You've got hardliners who lean far right, but the majority, they're just regular Republicans who believe in limited government, individual liberty, and traditional values without going off the deep end. They're not impossible to talk to. They're not extremists. They're just people with a different political vision. Are you tracking with me, folks? Are you tracking? Okay. This is very important when you have conversations with boneheads, or even when you just have conversations in general, because a lot of times we're mistaken, right? Like I say all the time, we live in the extremes of who we are, right? All of us, right? We think every liberal is some radical person who wants to burn down the city and Black Lives Matter and George Floyd, when that's not the case for every liberal. In fact, that's not the case for most liberals. But who gets the most attention, the most loud, the most vocal, the most violent, the most crass, the most crazy? And the same thing with MAGA and conservatives and right wingers and all of that other stuff. There is a point. Yes, there is overlap, but don't get it twisted. MAGA is a populist movement. Conservative is an ideology. Extreme right wingers are the mirror image of extreme left wingers. And the Republican Party is the political vehicle that tries to herd all those cats into one tent. Different lanes, same highway. Sometimes they merge, sometimes they crash, but they are all not the same thing. And until people start respecting these differences, they'll keep sounding ignorant every time they open their damn mouths. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I could have said it any better. I don't know if I could have written it out any better. I don't know. Maybe I could have. But in my purview, I think I pretty much hit the nail on the head. So when we try to have the conversation about distinctions, refer them to this video. Say, go watch AJ's Rant Room, episode 23. In fact, you even got to go far in, and they got chapters. So just go to the Politics Fix chapter, and AJ will hook you up with everything you need to know. So, what happened on this day in American history?
So what happened on this day in American history?
In 1619, slavery begins in mainland British colonies of North America when the first known African captives land at Point Comfort, Virginia, before being sold or traded into servitude. In 1718, hundreds of French colonists arrived in Louisiana and found New Orleans. In 1990, UN Security Council authorizes military action against Iraq for invading Kuwait. In 1998, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the debut album by Lauryn Hill, is released. It went on to win 5 Grammys, including Album of the Year and Billboard Album of the Year 1998.
Now, are we ready for an uncomfortable conversation?
Now, we were supposed to actually get to this last week. Actually, 2 weeks ago, we were supposed to get to this particular video, but then Amanda Seals took over last week, and then the week before I overslept. Well, actually, I moved the show to Friday and then overslept on that Friday. Listen, my brother's doing a lot, you know. Forgive me, for I am human. But this woman on TikTok, I believe this video, I don't know who sent this video to me, but this woman on TikTok did a whole monologue about how Donald Trump is trying to put black folks back in the fields by deporting illegal immigrants. So let's start the video.
So Donald Trump, not in these exact words, but basically admitted this.
So she just started off telling you she's lying. She's about to lie to you. Not in these exact words, but I'm going to remix his words to sound like, I need you to be a victim.
Week that a lot of the things that he's been doing, a lot of the policies, a lot of the executive orders that he's been signing off on was all made with the intention of getting black people back into the field.
That is the stupidest. I've heard a lot of stupid stuff since my time in this political world, and that's one of the dumbest statements I've ever made. But let her cook.
It was made with the intention of getting black people back into the field. All right, so on Tuesday, Donald Trump made an appearance, right, on CNBC's Squawk Box. And on that platform, he actually made a lot of commentary in regards to the situation with the deportations, migrant workers, the state of America's agriculture, and he made comments on inner city people not doing farm work. I want you to always remember that when they mention inner city, that means black.
Okay. That means black, y'all. So nobody else lives in the inner city except niggas.
In Donald Trump's exact words, people that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. Naturally. They don't get a bad back because if they get a bad back, they die.
Now, the way she remixed this, because if you hear it, I wish I should have actually, for my due diligence, should have downloaded him actually saying it. So the second part of what she said, he wasn't referring to the inner city people. He was referring to the migrants. He was referring to the Hispanics. So she conflated all of that to mean the black people. The black people aren't doing the work. They're not. He's not lying. So we're trying to make this into a race issue versus you're already on a plantation, so you might as well go do some work. Let me let her cook a little more before I go off on a diatribe.
He also went on to say that they are very, very, very special people.
He's not talking about black people again.
And they cannot be easily replaced.
He's talking about the migrants.
Remember what I said, anytime that they mention the words inner city people, inner city communities.
She's too pretty to be this dumb. She is too pretty to be this foolish. And this video went viral, mind you. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of likes and probably millions of views.
Inner city neighborhoods, that's black. That's code for black. Black, blackity black.
Okay. That's called an assumption, but keep going.
Black people. And it is because of that exact commentary that it reconfirms for me, okay? Not confirms, but reconfirms, meaning that I already knew. But it reconfirms that the plan from the very beginning with these executive orders, right, was to further destabilize black communities.
The black community is so destabilized at this point, you can't get any more destabilized. So what is she even talking about? Does she not live in a black community? The black community is not all. Let's be clear. There are some black people doing very well in their communities. But we're not talking about those. We're talking about inner city. You're going to sit here in good faith, lady, and say that black communities in the inner city, because that's what you're referring to, that the inner city isn't already unstable? I would love to ask her, how is the inner city actually stable? How's the inner city stable? I would love to hear the answer.
Further destabilize poor communities.
They're already destabilized.
Black mainly, so that you could put pressure on these communities so that you could get them to go back into the field.
No, that's not why. Here's the thing.
Right? And then once you get them back in the field, bingo, you've made America great again. Modernize slavery.
This video is 5.5 minutes long. I just want to make that clear. Make America Great Again, which I literally just went over in the previous segment, has nothing to do with y'all black asses being slaves again. Has nothing to do with any of this emotionalism or these historical hurts that y'all love to live in. Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that. Number two, it is an insult to my ancestors to for one moment believe that you don't have the privilege that they have. You know what that privilege is? Choice. You think they had the choice to be a damn slave? No. They were literally property, like your dog, like your snake, like your ferret. They were property. So there was no, I can opt out of this, or I don't want to do this. And on top of that, they're not getting paid. They didn't get paid. So no one's going to ask black people to go, A, work for free. And number two, constitutionally, you probably can't even articulate to me how they can even bring slavery back. Slavery was a business, an immoral business, a terrible business, but a business. So when you sit here in bad faith and make this stupid argument and annoy any logical person listening to you or following the Trump administration, it's a slap and a spit in the face to all of the ancestors who made sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifice, so that your black ass could talk into a $2,000 device in the year 2025. And you mean to tell me somebody's forcing you to go work on a field? Nobody can force you to do a damn job in 2025. Now, if you want to talk about the inner city and how unstable it is, it's unstable because of Democrats. The inner city was designed to be unstable. By what? Your city council. They do all the zoning. And the majority of your city council is what? Democrats. It's all by design. So the plantation you're looking for, you're already on it. You're already on the damn plantation. Nobody had to lay out one for you. You're on it already. It's called a concrete plantation. So them useless pieces of POSs sitting in front of the liquor store begging for your hard-earned money, put their asses out on the fields. They need a job. The big government that's controlling your communities, yeah, because you're sitting up here with your Section 8 vouchers and your food stamps and all this other crazy stuff in the inner city. Not all people in the inner city get those things, but enough to make it an argument. So when you sit there collecting all of these social programs and someone saying, hey, there's a job if you would like one, you have the privilege, the autonomy to say yes or no. No one's going to break down your door and drag your black ass out and make you go into the fields. It is something you can opt into. And let's also be clear, there are a lot of poor whites who will go do it. There's a lot of white people. There are a lot of poor Hispanic citizens who will go do it. There are a lot of people who will go take those jobs. So this wild, crazy, insane theory that black people are somehow savages, that's how you think of yourself, as a low totem pole animal, and that somehow MAGA is going to make an example of your black ass. I'm so bored. I'm so bored.
But black people said, fuck you, and this little game that you want to play.
Again, black people are already on the plantation. You're on the Democrat plantation. And Democrat plantation is the inner city. The Democrat plantation are the schools that are failing. The Democrat plantation is the high welfare state and the fatherless homes. That is the Democrat plantation. So Donald Trump is not trying to put you or any other black person on a plantation. You're already on it. You're already in the fields. You're in the fields with your high blood pressure and your diabetes and your fast food restaurants and your food deserts and your redlining, and your inability to open businesses in your own community because of zoning. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all Democrats. They ain't got shit to do with MAGA, Republicans, Donald Trump, nobody.
Since we are the most valuable player on the scoreboard,
Oh, Lord, here we go. Now we got to puff up our chest. Yeah, we're the most valuable player on the scoreboard. If you're the most valuable player on the scoreboard, how come we don't see that? The most valuable player on the scoreboard don't have to say they're the most valuable player on the scoreboard. Mm-hmm. Secondly, you just said you're low totem pole. You're savages who are about to be dragged back into the field. So how is that?
we will remove ourselves and let's see if this game is still going to continue.
It is going to continue. It's going to continue because you know why? Because a lot of these migrants do have visas. And then a lot of the migrants who aren't committing crimes are basically sent back and told to get back online and do it the right way. This is the Democrat philosophy. She's okay with Hispanic people not getting a livable wage while complaining about not getting a livable wage in her community. Mm-hmm. It's okay for these Hispanic people to go work out in the fields for 3 cents, 12, 15-hour days. Don't have to give these people breaks. They have no rights. They can't take vacation. They can't do anything. They can't fight for more money because they're not protected. And you're okay with that. This is what I was talking about in my live stream before I got here tonight. The Democrat Party has brainwashed black people to the point where they don't see that they're doing the same bidding that the Ku Klux Klan did in any slave master. But, you know, I'm just AJ.
That's in fact what we're seeing right now. Donald Trump thought that by forcing all of these other people out, taking away our Medicaid,
now you're entitled to Medicaid. You're entitled to Medicaid. First of all, nobody was kicked off Medicaid except illegal immigrants. Why? Because you don't have rights to this system that you did not pay into. Yeah. Number two, if you are an able-bodied American, you're not being kicked off. The only way you'll get kicked off is if you violate the new rules, which is basically if you're an able-bodied person, you got to go out and work. You got to go out and work, go to school, do work study, or volunteer somewhere. That's all. That's all that's being asked of you to keep your benefits. I don't understand being an able-bodied person and accepting Medicaid to begin with. But again, I want you to be aspirational and you want to keep people dependent on the government. So how is staying dependent on government subsidies empowering for black people? I'll tell you, it's not. It's not empowering at all. The worst thing we did was invite the government into our communities. It's the worst thing. So keeping people on Medicaid like they're entitled to it, which you're not. No one's being cut off Medicaid unless they don't belong on it. Period. Full stop.
doing all of these things to further destabilize our community.
I'll say it for a third time. Your community is already destabilized. The Democrats did a great job of pretending to be your friend and then coming in and wiping everything out because they know how ignorant black folks are, a lot of, especially in the inner city, to civics, the actual politics of their community. All the people, they just run to the polls and they vote for everybody with a D next to their name. Don't know any of these people, don't know most of these people on the ballot, but you just do it anyway. Because you've been conditioned, you've been brainwashed to believe that the Democrat Party is your friend. Meanwhile, you look at the conditions of the inner city and the black community and all the black folks who were in the South and who moved up north and ended up on bread lines.
We would conform, that we would just do what he wants us to do. What
you've already conformed. The moment you said you're fighting for Medicaid, you've conformed. You've conformed to the system. The white supremacy and the oppression and the systemic stuff that y'all cry and scream about, you literally just advocated for it. So make that make sense.
The whites of this world, what white supremacy wants us to do.
White supremacy is the inner city. The manifestation of white supremacy is the inner city. Y'all broke, dusty asses in the inner city, keeping your head above water, making a wave you can. That is the result of white supremacy, ma'am. They've convinced you that white supremacy is this external boogeyman, which is nowhere in your backyard, when literally the white supremacy is every time you pull a ballot for a Democrat in your district. Every time.
But black people decided to pull a Uno reverse and they did nothing.
You weren't doing anything. You weren't doing anything to begin with. So what are we talking about? I'm so confused right now. Did nothing. And not all black folks are not doing nothing, but you're damn sure not doing nothing. But sending people right into the arms of their slave masters, aka the Democrat Party. Oh, come here, let me control your life. You need more of me, you need bigger government, you need bigger government.
Which is something that they're not used to black people doing.
This is painful.
They're used to black people having this spirit of rebellion, having this spirit of revolution. But instead, black people decided that, you know what? I'm going to preserve my energy for me and my people, but I'm also going to remove myself from this game entirely. And now everything is starting to crumble. The way that the America agriculture is taking a huge hit right now.
Really? So American agriculture is taking a big hit because inner city people won't go work in the fields. Does she hear herself? I don't think she hears herself.
Because of Donald Trump and his deportations. Like, I don't think that you understand how much America survives off of the labor of undocumented workers.
Slavery. So she's a proponent of slavery. She wants modern day slaves just to be Hispanic. They don't make them us. Just make them the Hispanics. Let the Hispanics go out there and break their backs for 2 cents. That's what she literally is advocating for. The level of ignorance coming out of this woman is annoying, infuriating, and it's just maddening on levels that I don't even think I've reached yet. Being undocumented means you have no rights. Meaning you're basically at the mercy of the person who said, okay, you can work here. Do you think she made a video about those kids that were found on the marijuana farm in California? You think she made that video? You think she was up there talking about this was disrespectful? How you gonna have kids out here? I think 8 of the 10 of them were unaccompanied. You got 8 of 10 kids unaccompanied working out here as child slaves, and we good with that because they're not black. The level of ignorance is absurd at this point.
And when I say y'all, I mean all the other races. Black people knew because black people were telling you. They told you, don't do this. Don't do this because we're not going back in the field.
The fact that you could make that statement and then compare yourself to slaves who had no choice just goes to show the level of IQ that I'm working with here.
Don't do this, but y'all didn't listen. And just to put into retrospect of how important undocumented migrant workers are to the agriculture economy here in America, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that roughly 42% of crop workers are undocumented.
Again, cheap labor, slave labor, basically, essentially, new slaves, like the Kanye West song.
With nearly 70% being foreign born. This labor is essential in states like California and Texas, where up to 80% of farm workers lack legal status.
Okay, so why don't you do what the previous administration didn't do or anyone before that? If you're so concerned about these people's legal status, support them getting their legal status so that they can then fight for the wage that they want. Because when you have no papers, you can't buck up to nobody about your money. You just got to accept whatever they give it.
Donald Trump signed off on a lot of these executive orders back in January. It is now August, and in between that time, he has done a parade of chaotic shit, trying to put pressure on the black community.
Like what?
But the black community has refused
Like what?
to fold.
Like what?
They have not folded.
Like what? What executive orders?
And it's not just the black community.
She gave no examples of executive orders.
But the legal Hispanic community here, the legal Latinos here, the Browns, and every other race that sees what this administration has been trying to do from the.
Okay, first of all, the only dumb group in this country were blacks who went 90% for Democrats as usual and have done so pretty much in every election since LBJ. Hispanics were split. Whites were split. Asians split. Other split. Because that shows you have a balanced community. When you have a one community out of all of different communities, only one is going 90+% in one direction and is at the bottom of the totem pole, according to her. Who's the fool? Like I asked in my previous live when Homeboy couldn't answer my question. Who's the damn fool here? It's not the Democrat Party. They're getting what they want. It's not the Republicans. They don't need y'all.
Very beginning, they have not folded, and because of that, everything that he has signed off on in January is starting to bite him in the ass in August.
Oh God, Jesus. I'm gonna let her just ride out the rest of this stupid monologue.
And to all of you people out there that had so much to say in regards to the black community and the 92% and them actually deciding to stand down and not participate, to not get involved, to protect their peace, all of the
To protect their peace. You don't have peace, but you're protecting your peace. When the fuck did the inner city become peaceful? Can somebody show me a peaceful inner city? Have y'all ever seen a peaceful inner city? If you point me to a peaceful inner city, I'll shut the hell up right now. I'll shut up. You find me a peaceful inner city, I'll be quiet.
critiques that you had on their decision, let this be your example. Let this be your primary example as to why you should stay the fuck out of black people business.
Y'all heard sister girl. She said stay out of her motherfucking business.
Stay the fuck out of black people business. You had so much to say in regards to our decision and wanting to stand the fuck back and deciding to remove ourselves from this entire game altogether, right? Now you see that black people actually knew what the fuck they were doing.
No, actually you don't. And you still don't. And the level of political ignorance here is just astounding. And if I didn't have to move on, well, it's 33 seconds left.
They knew what the fuck they were doing.
They knew what
They told you were going to need these people because they weren't doing it anymore. They told you they wasn't going to do it anymore. You still got rid of them people. You still got rid of the migrants. You still did and went through with the mass deportations, and now you guys want food.
Oh, we're starving. But I'm sorry. Are the shelves empty? Are the shelves empty at the store? I don't go in the store. I just order everything. So, are we Americans? Are we wanting for corn and weed? And are we wanting for this stuff? Is there something I'm missing here?
That the black people.
Listen, shut the fuck up. Nobody needs your black ass for anything. We don't need your black asses. You're already failing. You're already losers. You're already pointless. You're already violent. You're already protecting your criminals. You got a statue built to a whole crackhead. Nobody's taking y'all seriously. This was an entire emotional monologue about nothing. She brought up no facts, no evidence, based on one thing Donald Trump said in an interview that she took out of context and made her black ass the center of it. Y'all, black folks ain't the strongest, because if you were the strongest, you would be a bit smarter when you came to your voting choices, right? 92% is not a flex. 92% says you're dumb. That's what 92% says. You're emotional, historically inept, and stupid. That's what 92% says. 92% never says smart. When you see every other demographic balanced, give or take 5 to 6, 7% one way or the other, but balanced, that's people who are making informed choices for their lives. This group think, this herd think, this we got to do everything together, it's done. It's done. So enjoy your ghetto, enjoy your inner city, enjoy your food stamps, enjoy your Medicaid, enjoy all of the government programs you want to enjoy. Losers. Now, what the hell do I say now? Oh, there we go. This is our Turntable Rewind. Woo! Rewind back to the time. The year is 2001. It was a good year. I remember 2001, other than 9/11 and the story that we're going to feature today. Other than that, 2001 was a pretty cool year in my world. I was a New Yorker. Anyway, the number one song on this day in the year 2001 was Alicia Keys' Fallin'. It debuted at number 98 on the Billboard Hot 100 for the first week in June of 2001. The song peaked atop the chart in its 8th week, where it will remain for 6 non-consecutive weeks. It remained on the chart for a total of 34 weeks and managed to chart on the 2001 Billboard Year-End Hot 100 at number 2, behind Lifehouse's Hanging by a Moment. However, it was the highest charting number one single on the chart in 2001. Now, the number one album on this day in 2001 was Now That's What I Call Music 7. Remember these compilations? They were so funny. It was released July 31st, 2001. The album is the 7th edition of the US Now series. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart, selling 621,000 copies in its first week. The highest opening weekend sales for any US Now album. It is the 3rd number 1 album in the series and has been certified 3 times platinum by the RIAA. Now 7 is the first in a series to also cross over onto the hip hop R&B chart, peaking at number 3. The album features one track, All For You, Janet Jackson, It's All For You, that reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on its own. The number 1 movie in America was American Pie 2. And yes, Prince, I did not see this movie either. American Pie grossed $45.1 million from 3,063 theaters in the United States and Canada, ranking number 1 at the box office above Rush Hour 2, a record for an R-rated comedy surpassing Scary Movie. This record will be held until 2008, when it was surpassed by Sex and the City. Overall, it had the 2nd highest opening weekend for 14 years. Oh, wait, I read that wrong. Okay, great. For 14 years, the film would hold the record for having the highest August opening weekend for a rated R film until Straight Outta Compton in 2015. It was the 4th consecutive Universal Film of the Year to reach $40 million in a single weekend after The Mummy Returns, The Fast and the Furious, and Jurassic Park 3. For the first time in history, 4 consecutive films had approached the $45 million mark in their opening weekend. After the latter, Rush Hour 2 and Planet of the Apes, American Pie 2 became the first film to top the box office for multiple weeks since Pearl Harbor. Great. Good for them. Still not going to see it. I didn't see the comment. Yes, Rush Hour 2. Yes, I didn't see that either, so I don't know. I'm just reading the script, y'all. All right, let's go to our throwback story. So today, on this day 24 years ago, Aaliyah left us. Unfortunately, she passed away in a plane crash, a controversial plane crash. Um, there's still a lot of things we don't know about that day or her condition or why they got on that plane, or there's just so many circumstances. We'll probably never know the full story. Um, yo, y'all gonna leave me alone. Y'all gonna leave Beyonce alone. Anyway, but this hits different because I was a fan, and I respected her artistry, and um on this day we lost Aaliyah Dana Houghton, better known to the world simply as Aaliyah, only 22 years old, but she left a legacy most artists could never touch in a lifetime. Mind you, she was only like famous for 7 years, which is crazy. If you grew up in the 90s, you knew the trio. You knew the trio by name. It was Aaliyah, it was Brandy, and it was Monica. These were the holy trinity of black teenage singers. Each of them had their own lane, their own sound, and their own vibe. Brandy was the vocal Bible. Monica had that raw Southern soul. And then there was Aaliyah. She was the cool, mysterious one with shades, the baggy pants, and that whispery but commanding voice. Together, they gave girls everywhere a blueprint of what it looked like to be young, talented, and amazing, and how to own the spotlight. They weren't just singing, they were representing. Aaliyah dropped AJ Nothing But a Number at 15. And yeah, the circumstances surrounding the album were complicated, and he shall remain nameless, but her voice, her presence could not be denied. By her second project, One in a Million, with Missy Elliott and Star Power, Queen of the Damned gave us a taste of the darker side, edgier side of her talent. She had roles lined up in the Matrix sequels. She was about to be everywhere. But the thing about Aaliyah was it wasn't just the music or the movies, it was her aura. It was her style. It was the way she moved. She could rock baggy pants and a crop top and some Tims and still look like a goddess. She made being laid back iconic. The culture followed her lead and honestly still does. I mean, you see so many Aaliyah templates today, even right after she passed away. That's why losing her hit so hard. Every real Aaliyah fan knows exactly where they were when they got the news that the plane crashed in Bahamas, and it was like time froze. People cried like they lost family, and in a way we did, because she wasn't just a celebrity. She felt like one of us. So today we give baby girl her flowers. Aaliyah, thank you for the music, the fashion, the films, the blueprint. Thank you for showing what it meant to be young, black, and fly while still being humble and graceful. You help redefine R&B. You help push hip hop into new spaces, and you left a mark nobody can erase. Rest in peace, Aaliyah Dana Houghton. 20 years plus, we're still rocking with you. We still miss you, and we will always love the music and the artistry you left behind. And now it's time for an AJ throwback. Woo! I don't remember the photographer. I don't remember where this was. I don't remember any of that. I just like the picture. I like the angle. I got on tidy whities. Actually, it's not. If you look closely, you see that I don't have on tidy whities. But don't be freaky. Don't be freaky. Great guitar. Fun moment. I like my hair. I like the pose. I like the angle. I like me. Oh man. Anyway, I don't know. There's no real story behind the image. I just dig the image. And I think my hair was like a brownish color. Calvin Klein ad. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's my throwback image. And I saw, I don't know if Mandingo's still here, but if he is, this is my version of memes of the week since you asked, and it's called Man, Leave Me Alone.
Don't just leave me alone.
I'm sorry? You were abandoned at birth, you're a person of color in America, you were a queer person in a Mormon community. Are there any other struggles you faced in life?
No, I think you really nailed it.
Look, oral sex, look. You oral sex, use oral sex. Let that sperm of that man out. Out, you demon. Out. Let go.
Delivered me 2 Sundays back, then a demon came with his penis and put it in my mouth. And then he came again and he slept with me last week, and I told the pastor that I need deliverance again, and since then my private part has been itching.
It's been itching?
Yes.
Okay. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Speak. Who are you? Take. Who are you? Look at that demon. 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 Who are you?
Girl, I love pretty. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women.
Hey, y'all remember our grandmas used to make us nut before we go on a date so that we won't have sex?
Boy, what the fuck?
Yo, you got blue eyes, bro. Yo, look, come in. You got blue eyes. One blue that way, one blue that way.
Wings, right?
We do?
Yeah, you know y'all got the best wings, right?
We still have the best
Y'all got the best wings, the best fries. Where we at?
No, we at the Holy Moly.
What at?
The Holy Moly.
And where at? In Gainesville, Florida?
In Gainesville, Florida.
And you the one on the mic back there when you order, right?
That's me.
You rude as fuck. You rude. You a big black rude bitch. You on the intercom being rude.
What it is,
you don't know. You just a big black rude bitch. You was just rude to me, and I heard you rude to the people back there. Y'all got good wings, but you a rude, ugly, bald head bitch. Have a great day, bald head, ugly, black bitch.
Today, being retarded means leading a full life. Retarded people go to work or school, just like their neighbors, and come back to a real home. A supervised home, right in the neighborhood, where they belong. Being retarded never stopped anyone from being a good neighbor.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hellies? What the hellions?
Yeah! Major Le, the Bafukir, composing. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Girl, shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that? Bitch, you...
Yo, shout for season, man.
Hey, I told you stop saying that shit.
I don't know who the minister of music is, but he decided to spice things up, and I'm gonna go with it.
Right here is Dorothy Hallelujah Sanders. She's the church mother, and she running things, and she marching in like she running things, and you better not say nothing to her. Next is Linda. Linda is the pastor's wife. She humble, and she don't want no problems. Now behind her is Josephine, and Josephine got a nasty attitude, and she mad because she ain't in the front. But don't say nothing because she loves to fight. Now behind her is Lois. God bless Lois. Lois is marching in even though she ain't feeling well. She is suffering from gas. Yes, she bloated, as you can see, and we all know when she get in that choir stand, she gonna blow things up. Now this here is Linda. Linda don't know nothing. She ain't been in no practice, but the only reason she showed up is because she know we feeding. Now these two behind her, they don't even go to the church. They just jumped in line because they know boots on the ground is the next selection. Now behind him is Jay. Jay has no idea that we know he gay. Yes, Jay, us and Jesus know you gay. And here is Paul. Paul got on his sister's shit. He ought to be ashamed of himself and need to be kicked out the line.
Yeah. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Anyway. Oh God. All right. Let's sober up. I need always sweat during that segment. Let's land at our inspiration point.
Why do people have access to your space that have no investment into your future? If you don't invest in me, why are you frustrating me? Stop getting frustrated with people who are there free of charge. Some of the things in your life, I need you to hear me, that have distracted you were not sent by God to discourage you. It was designed by God to allow you to be in your life long enough to develop the skill set so you could learn how to pick the lock so nobody else could lock you out. And your goal over the next 3 weeks is to become so fully you that when you get to destiny, you don't show up half a person. Do me a favor, every woman look at another woman and say, I'm finally her. Every fella look at another guy and say, I'm finally him.
I'm finally him. I wish it took only 3 weeks. But that's the word right there, y'all. That's the word. People be thinking, oh, yeah, you know, you need like 4,000 friends. No, you need about 5 people that really believe in you. That's it. That's what you really need in life. You don't need 8 million people. You don't need to tell everybody your mission, your vision, because not everybody's going to understand. And here's the freaky part. Not everybody can go with you because there are just some people who are stuck. They want the old version of you. They want that version of you and nothing else. And if you grow, develop, mature, anything, they can't handle it. They absolutely can't handle it. And you know what? It's okay. I have never had to force anybody out of my life. They were always removed, and I always believed that was divinely ordered. They were removed, and then folks who were added to my life were divinely added. That's it. That's it. So that's the message for today. Give me some butterscotch, baby.
Now it's time for some shout outs. Shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for always holding me down, through whom which all of my blessings flow. Shout out to the production team for always keeping it solid. Major shout out to the RANT fam. Thank y'all so much for always supporting the live streams, the content, for always showing up when I need y'all. And once again, please make sure you like, share, comment, and if you're new here and you like what you saw, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified every time we go live or drop a new video. If you would like to monetarily support the channel, you can always go to ajsrantroom.com and drop some of your hard-earned cash on our merch. We also take offerings in the virtual collection plate. Now, to some of you, this might be just another podcast, but to me, it's my next chapter and purpose, and I thank you for lending me some of your time. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you chose to give me a few moments of your day, and for that, I'm grateful. And with that said, I'm out.